as a full sacrifice. It's just bad animals, so they're not good animals. They wouldn't offer in the best. That's what Joel was looking for.
Yes, very good. All right. Now, thank you, Brother Thomas. Sister Forgina Rogers, please, your thought?
Yeah, because Jehovah told him that how a son would honor his father and a servant his master. So if I'm the father, where's the honor due to me? Try taking that lame sacrifice to your governor or to someone else. Would he appreciate that? Would he take it? So why do you despise me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you, Sister Rogers. Sister Yamada, what was that comment? Thank you very much, friends. We appreciate your fine comments. Now, let's move on to paragraph 4, because the big question is it possible for somebody who is imperfect to have integrity? Let's take a look.
Should we conclude that we must be perfect in order to have integrity? After all, we may feel that we are less than sound or even very flawed. Consider 2 reasons why we need not fear. First, Jehovah does not focus on our flaws. His word tells us, if errors were what you watch, O Jehovah, then who could, O Jehovah, could stand? He knows that we are imperfect, sinful humans, and he forgives us generously. Second, Jehovah knows our limitations, and he does not expect more of us than we can do. In what sense, then, can we be complete, sound, or whole in his eyes?
Thank you very much, Brother Alton. Could you read for us Psalm 103, verses 12 through 14, please?
As far off as the sunrise is from the sunset, so far off from us he has put our transgressions. As a father shows mercy to his sons, Jehovah has shown mercy to those who fear him. For he well knows how we are formed, remembering that we are dust.
Thank you very much, Brother Alton. We appreciate that. So question 4a says, why can an imperfect person have integrity? Why? Sister Smothers, Asia.
Well, Psalms 133, verse 3 says that Jehovah does not watch or keep track of our errors. Otherwise, none of us would be able to show integrity. But rather, Jehovah observes our efforts and answers our prayers for help and forgiveness.
Yes, thank you very much, Sister Smothers. We appreciate that. And why would we feel that we personally we can't do this integrity business? Why would we personally have questions about us? Brother Merrick, please. John.
Psalm 86:5 tells us about Jehovah and his viewpoint. It says, "For you, O Jehovah, are good and ready to forgive. You abound in loyal love for all those who call on you." So there's our assurance. It's really beautiful. We can have confidence that Jehovah wants us. He wants us to be part of his organization, his flock. And so he makes it every way possible for us. And first of all, is forgiveness. He will forgive us our sin.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Sister Cunningham. Tisha, please.
And because we're imperfect, we're sinful, we make mistakes all the time, we can feel like I'm a lost cause, I'm not going to be able to accomplish this. But there in Psalms 103, 12 through 14, Jehovah reminds us that he knows our limitations, so he doesn't expect from us more than what we're able to give.
Thank you, Sister Cunningham. Sister Kimberly, please.
In Psalms 133, it says, if errors were what you watch, O Jehovah, then who, O Jehovah, could stand? We know a lot of humans that bring people down, and it really despises them. It breaks down their integrity, and it gives them very low self-esteem. So we see here that Jehovah is always ready to forgive. He wants to observe just a speck of change in someone's heart, and that will provide a basis for him to extend mercy.
Thank you very much, Sister Chamberlain. What a wonderful God and Father that we have. Now, we read Psalm 103, 12 through 14. Let me ask you this question. How far off is the sunrise from the sunset? Think very carefully. Okay. Sister Joe, please, Marietta.
They can never meet.
It's impossible. You can fly at the speed of light, they will never meet. So, what is the comfort here that Jehovah gives to you and I? Psalm 103, 12 through 14. as witnesses of Jehovah and those who are trying to come to know him better. Brother Cunningham?
What makes me think of it's doable. Jehovah is not giving us something that can't be done. And it's comforting, and he shows us that if our mistakes and we're repentant, if they're that far off, then we can do it, and we need to keep going because Jehovah says that you can do it.
Yes, very good. And Sister Mazik, please, Joyce.
And Jehovah's forgiveness is perfect. It's not like humans. Once he forgives you, he does not bring it back up.
Isn't that something? Let's pull up the record sheet. That was 165 times today. Okay. It's gone. Okay, now, still in Psalm 103, 12 through 14, how does it describe Jehovah to you? How he feels about you and I? Brother Jason O'Doy?
Makes mention in verse 13 as a father shows mercies to his sons, and how many times a son might do something wrong or might disobey the father growing up, and the father knows this, and so he's not going to absolutely punish the child and bring up every single problem and mistake that they've done. Rather, he's going to show mercy on the child and forgive him. And in verse 14, it says that he well knows how we were formed in memory that we are dust. So Jehovah God knows that we're imperfect human beings. He knows that we're not perfect. He knows that we will make mistakes. So rather than hold us to that perfect standard, he's going to allow us to make these mistakes and forgive us if we're repentant, and then he will move those transgressions away from us.
Thank you very much, Brother O'Doy. So we all have fathers. Did they discipline us? Did we do stuff that we even wondered, man, that's really stupid? So why are we still here? And not 6 feet under the ground? Why are we still here? Brother Compton?
Because we know that God is love, and everything around him surrounds love. So just like the example that was given about the father, the son makes mistakes. Well, the reason why he doesn't just really get down on him and beat him down is because he loves him. Well, Jehovah feels the same about us. No matter what, he loves us, and that's why he's able to forgive us and have patience with our shortcomings.
Thank you very much, Brother Compton. And Brother Cunningham?
Also, the fact that we're still here shows that they forgave us. You know, I know I did plenty of things my dad wanted to take me out for, but you know, I'm still here and I made progress, and we still talk.
Yes, indeed. I mean, nice that we didn't come with a return policy, huh? Yeah, very good. Okay, so we can appreciate how Jehovah feels about us. Sister Crochet, did you have a thought? Okay, well, that was covered. Very good. Let's move on to paragraph 5, because we have to get to the root, the key to integrity. Paragraph 5 will start us off, please.
For servants of Jehovah, the key to integrity is love. Our love for God, our loyal devotion to him as our Heavenly Father must remain complete, sound, or whole. If our love remains like that, even when we are tested, then we have integrity. Consider again the 3 witnesses we described at the outset. What do they act as they do? Why do they act as they do? Does the young girl hate having fun at school? Or does the young man hope to be embarrassed at a door? Or does the family man want to lose his job? Of course not. Rather, they know that Jehovah has righteous standards, and their minds are focused on what pleases their Heavenly Father. Their love for him moves them to put him first in the decisions they make. They thus put their integrity into action.
Thank you very much, Brother Albert. And we'd like volunteers to look up, to read for us 1 Chronicles 28, verse 9, and Matthew 22, verse 37. Let me ask the question first, though. For servants of Jehovah, how is love the key to integrity? Sister Melton, in the back.
Our love for Jehovah is what is used to test whether we have integrity or not. So if our love remains intact for him, then that means that we have integrity.
Yes, thank you very much, Sister Melton. And Brother McNaughton?
And like the 3 examples in the beginning of the study article, we don't want negative things to happen to us, but we know that Jehovah has righteous standards, and we know that we want to uphold them because we have love for Jehovah.
Yes, thank you very much. And Sister, let me make sure I got your name right. Sister Williams, please, up front. Christine.
It's because of our love and our loyal devotion to Jehovah that we continue to stay focused on what we need to do. We don't focus on the negative, but the positive, and that we are still serving Jehovah. We love Jehovah, and we want to serve him with a loyal devotion.
Very good. All right, thank you. Sister Otia, please.
And so we put our integrity and our love into action by making Jehovah's righteous standards the first thing that we think about when we have to decide upon something in these situations.
Yes, indeed. Very good, friends. We appreciate all the fine comments there. So, if the love we have for Jehovah becomes weakened or questionable, then what is going to happen when we're put on the test about our integrity? Sister Marion, Lalene, please.
Well, then most likely we won't keep our integrity. The opposite will happen. If our love moves us to put Jehovah first, then a weakened love means that Jehovah's going to be second, third, or maybe even further down.
Yeah. How terrible that would be. Thank you, Reverend Sister Marion. Brother Thomas in the back there.
Brother Larson, he brought it out in his talk at Matthew 22, verse 37. What the greatest commandment was. He says you must love Jehovah God with your whole heart, your whole mind, and with your whole soul. This is the greatest commandment. So that he stressed the importance of that. That's what we have to be if we're going to show true integrity.
Yes, thank you very much, Brother Thomas, as well. So then we understand all of these things, the basis for integrity, but why do you and I need integrity? That's our next subheading, please.
What makes integrity so vital that each of us needs it? You need integrity because Satan has challenged Jehovah, and he has challenged you. That rebellious angel made himself Satan, or resistor, back in the Garden of Eden. He smeared Jehovah's good name by implying that God is bad, selfish, and dishonest ruler. Sadly, Adam and Eve sided with Satan, rebelling against Jehovah. Life in Eden had given them countless opportunities to strengthen their love for Jehovah, but at the time of Satan's challenge, their love was not complete, sound, or whole. Another question arose: would any humans remain loyal to Jehovah God out of love for him? In other words, are humans capable of showing integrity? That question came to the fore in the case of Job.
Question 6a says, why do you need integrity? Sister Cunningham, please. Sister Gwen Cunningham.
Because Satan challenged Jehovah, and because of this challenge, we're affected. So we are involved in that challenge. So our integrity is very important so we can prove Satan a liar.
Okay, thank you very much. Sister Cunningham, Kayla.
We need integrity because Satan has challenged Jehovah and he has challenged us.
Aha, very good. Sister Yamada, please. Thank you.
When we think about it, when Adam and Eve, when their integrity was challenged, things were actually pretty good. They were living in a beautiful park. They had plenty of food to eat. They had really good health. But now Satan is challenging us under much different, much more difficult circumstances.
Yes, thank you, Sister Yamada. So let's make it personal. Satan has challenged who? Who? Jada?
Us and Jehovah.
Okay, yes. Thank you, Jada. So he has challenged you personally, and me personally. Brother John Mary, please.
So that's why we are witnesses. We're witnesses to the fact that Jehovah has been challenged, and he's using us in this great universal court case that's going on as to who's right, whose will should be done. And the best way to resolve that question is for witnesses to bear out the truth. And so that's what we're doing, and that's why we keep striving to obey him and have his blessing to carry it out. We will do that.
Yes, thank you very much, Brother Mary. And Sister Gail Rogers, please.
And so that challenge that Satan made was that if our lives become uncomfortable, then we won't have integrity to Jehovah. And so therefore, that challenge puts all of us personally involved in this issue of honoring Jehovah's sovereignty.
Yes, indeed. And Brother Neil Abraham, right behind you, Brother Kanye.
And beside the comments, Jehovah allowed 600 years in order for the human being and angels to absorb and definitely see Satan was a liar, and Jehovah is a righteous, absolutely righteous God. And one lastly, even Jesus himself, he tells him that he said to Satan, he's a liar and the father of liar. When he lies from his own bucket. So Satan is absolutely a liar.
Okay, thank you very much, Brother Abraham. So what was it that Satan did in connection with Jehovah? How did he challenge Jehovah? I mean, this is preposterous to think, but how did he challenge Jehovah? Sister Cox, please.
If I have a correct answer, it would be, would any of us remain loyal to Jehovah out of our love for him, and are we capable of showing integrity?
Okay, very good. And let's see, is that Sister Son Louise? I couldn't see who their hands down.
And the way that he did this was that he smeared Jehovah's name. He made him out to be a bad God, one who was selfish and a dishonest ruler. And it just reminds me of the campaigns nowadays when they're going up against an opponent. They bring out every last horrible thing that they can think of that the opponent might not be guilty of, but they still want to slander their name. So that's what Satan did. He slandered Jehovah's name.
Yes, he did. Very good. So now, question B says, how did Adam and Eve fail to show integrity? Here was the test. Sister Gladys, order please.
Well, they have not taken the opportunity to strengthen their love for Jehovah. So when the test came, it exposed this fact that their love for Jehovah was not complete or sound and whole. So they failed the test of integrity.
Yes. Sad, isn't it? Brother Cunningham, thank you, Sister.
Also, when we think about the test that they underwent, Adam wasn't deceived. And so all he had to do was petition his Heavenly Father because he knew full well that Jehovah had given him everything. So he made a conscious decision to join the rebellion, even though the lies that Satan told he completely knew were false. But he joined his wife in the rebellion.
Yes. And so here we have a perfect man and woman rebelling against Jehovah. When put to the test, they flunked it. So we're the imperfect children. So what's the question that comes up about you and I? Before the entire universe, here we are. The perfect people failed. So, Brother Albert?
So Jehovah, the accusation against him was he was bad. That was one of them. But actually he wasn't, because at the point that Adam and Eve sinned, 100% of humans on the earth, there was no worshipers of Jehovah. But he didn't execute them because he knew that the potential for faithful ones still existed there. And so That's the answer to the question, would any humans remain loyal to him? Jehovah knew the answer is yes.
Okay, very good. And so we're going to be discussing this in more detail as we move into paragraph 7. As we take a look at the case of Job. Paragraph 7, please, Brother Alvin.
Job lived in the days when the Israelites were in Egypt. His integrity was unique. Like us, the man was imperfect. He made mistakes. However, Jehovah loved Job for his integrity. It seemed likely that Satan had already taunted Jehovah about human integrity. So Jehovah called Satan's attention to Job. That man's life course exposed Satan as a liar. Satan demanded that Job's integrity be put to the test. Jehovah trusted his friend Job, and he allowed Satan to test him.
Thank you very much, Brother Alvin. And so now we're going to get into some drama here. Job chapter 1, verses 8 through 11. Brother Alvin is going to play all the parts. And so let's pay close attention.
And Jehovah said to Satan, "Have you taken note of my servant Job? There's no one like him on the earth. He's an upright man of integrity, fearing God and shunning what is bad." At that, Satan answered Jehovah, "Is it for nothing that Job has feared God? Have you not put up a protective hedge around him and his house and everything he has? You've blessed the work of his hands and his livestock has spread out in the land. But for a change, stretch out your hand and strike everything he has, and he will surely curse you to your face."
Well, thank you very much, Brother Alvin. We appreciate that. And so question 7 says, as revealed at Job 1, 8 through 11, how did Jehovah and Satan feel about Job's integrity? How did they feel? Let's start with Sister Rogers, please, for Gina.
Well, it's like the scripture said, Jehovah said there's no one like him in the earth. And Jehovah loved Job just for that fact that he had that integrity.
Yes, thank you very much. Sister Huey?
Actually, I lost my thought.
Okay,
Sorry.
it will come back to you. Brother Harris, please. Thank you, Sister Huey.
I thought it was interesting that the Watchtower makes the comment that it seems likely that Satan had already taunted Jehovah about human integrity. So 2,500 years of humans being on the earth, and Satan had been poking at Jehovah probably all of that time. And yet we see it was Jehovah that brought it up, because obviously Satan had been watching Job. And the conversation between them shows that Job was known intimately by Satan. And yet Jehovah trusted Job enough because of the way he was, because of the way he worshiped, to let him undergo a test that he had no idea was coming or where it came from.
Yes, indeed. That was really something. Have you taken note of my servant Job? Oh, yes, he had. He's been visiting. Brother Compton, please. Thank you, Brother Harris.
You know, we did the Bible reading. John said it was for nothing that he served him. He said, you put a hedge around him. In other words, he said, yes, he has integrity, but you put a hedge around him and everything that he has. So this was the challenge. So he said, if you take that away, it'll be different.
Yes, okay. Thank you, Brother Compton. Brother Thompson, please.
I thought it's interesting that it brings out that Satan had demanded that Job's integrity be tested. That's like saying he's demanding something from Jehovah. He's lost his mind.
That's a serious thing to say. But anyway, yes, it is true. Really lost it. Thank you, Brother Thompson. Brother Merritt, please.
Well, this fits in with his MO as a liar. He didn't believe Jehovah. He said Jehovah was being dishonest.
Yes, indeed. Now, he uses the word taunt. So, what is the meaning of that word, taunting? Sister Cox, please. Casey?
To tease, to make fun of, repeatedly.
Where do we usually see it, very clearly in the media? Taunting. Let's say somebody hits a jump shot or scores a touchdown. What what do some of the players do about the other team? You never watch sports? Oh, Sister St. Louis, please.
They might do a dance. They might high five each other. They're doing a lot, and they're doing it in front of the faces of their opponents.
Yes. Thank you, Sister St. Louis. Sister Marietta Joe.
Taunting is trying to provoke a reaction.
Yes. Brother Kanye, Jamal.
Sometimes in football, you'll see the player chasing another player with the ball, and the player that's running will look back at him as he's running, taunting him like, you can't touch this, you can't catch me. And they'll keep going, and that player behind him, he's trying to get him, I can't wait to catch you. But he doesn't catch him, and he keeps taunting him all the way to the finish line or touchdown.
Brother Harris.
I like one of the definitions. It's an exchange of banter. They go back and forth, and usually they taunt each other. And that kind of brings a slightly different connotation to it as they go back and forth.
Yes, indeed. Brother Alvin?
And the ultimate purpose of a taunt is to diminish the recipient of the taunt. And so Satan was trying to diminish Jehovah by pointing to certain imperfect people who do bad things. But Jehovah did not accept that. So you're not going to diminish me. Look at my servant Job.
And Satan did this in private. Jehovah called him to a small private room in heaven. He said, oh, okay, Satan, let me ask you. What was the forum that he did it? Sister Crochet smiling?
Well, this was in front of everyone, all the angels. They had just taken their position in front of Jehovah, and Satan came in with them at the same time, and he made that accusation in front of everyone.
Brother Odor, thank you, Sister Crochet.
Yeah, I liked in verse 9, when Jehovah asked Satan, has he taken his notice of Job? And verse 9, is it for nothing that Job has feared God? And so I can imagine him saying this in front of all the angels, all the heavenly angels, and looking around and saying, you know, he's been protecting him this whole time, so of course he's going to fear him. So just the taunt, the boldness that he had to do that shows that he was taunting Jehovah. And then that's why Jehovah God allowed him to do, as we'll see later on.
Yes, very good. Thank you, Brother. But let's move on to paragraph 8. Let's see how Satan moved to attack Job's integrity.
Satan is cruel. He is a murderer. He attacked Job's belongings, robbing him of his wealth, his servants, and his reputation in the community. He attacked Job's family, robbing him of his 10 beloved children. Then he attacked Job's body, robbing him of his health by afflicting him with painful boils that covered him from head to foot. Job's wife was distraught and overwhelmed with grief. She urged him to give up and to curse God and die. Job himself wished for death, but he still kept his integrity. Then Satan tried a different method of attack. He used 3 men who were companions of Job. The men visited Job for days, but they offered no comfort. Instead, they heartlessly lectured and scolded him. They claimed that God was behind his troubles and cared nothing about his integrity. They even suggested that Job was a wicked man who deserved the terrible things that were happening to him.
Thank you, Brother. I appreciate that. So a question, how did Satan attack Job? Ian Larry, please.
Satan attacked Job by robbing him of his health and affecting him with painful boils, and he went through a lot of distress.
Yes, thank you very much. And Caleb, no, not Caleb, I'm sorry, Ivan.
Satan robbed him of all his money.
Yeah, he took all his money. Desiree?
He even attacked his family.
Yes, he did. Tritania?
He used 3 men who were
companions of Job, and when these 3 men came to Job, they didn't really comfort him, and instead they just scolded him like heartlessly, and they just lectured him and offered him no comfort. And they even said that he was a wicked man, and he actually deserved all those terrible things that were happening to him.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Sister Joe, please. Mariana?
When we have a foundation, or if we have a bridge, we want it to have integrity, to be whole, sound, and complete. And Satan tries to attack it either through just crashing into it, like killing of the family and so on, or also through erosion, such as the 3 comforters.
Yes, very good. And what about his wife? I mean, this is the intimate one, right? Jamal Cunningham Jr.?
His wife told Job to curse God and die.
Yeah. Was it because she was out of her mind, or what? Huh? Sister Mosey?
She was just devastated. There has been literature that the Watchtower has put out that you have to think about the fact that she lost her children too. She lost everything too, and she was not in a strong position to offer him encouragement.
Yeah. And now she could see her husband just from head to toe like a living dead body. And it stank too, you know. So you have to go live where? He couldn't stay in the house. Because he stank so bad, he had to go live where? Jana?
He said he has to go live in the wilderness.
Okay, wilderness, nice park. Now we don't have that here, where because the garbage people come and collect the refuse. But where do they take the refuse to? All the garbage they collect. Sister Autier?
He probably had to go where he could get the shards of pottery and the ashes near the dump where they were burning. The material ashes might have helped with the disinfecting the boils, and just keeping him outside somewhere was probably what he needed to do.
Yes. And also the shards to scratch, right? Because the thing itched. So, yeah. So what does that tell us about the kind of person Satan the devil is? Nice, compassionate, lovey-dovey. Brother Tillahone?
No, cruel and murderer.
Yes, that's what he is. And so, in the face of his trials, let's see what Job still refused to do. Paragraph 9, please.
How did Job handle all that adversity? He was not perfect. He angrily rebuked his false comforters, and he uttered what he admitted was wild talk. He defended his own righteousness more than he did God's. However, even in his worst moments, Job refused to turn against Jehovah God. He refused to believe the lies of those false friends. He said, "It is unthinkable for me to declare you men righteous. Until I die, I will not renounce my integrity." That is a statement of vital importance. Job refused to give in. We can do the same.
Question 9 says, in the face of his trials, what did Job refuse to do? Rafinia?
Job refused to turn against Jehovah God. He refused to believe the lies of all those false friends, and Job refused to give in.
Yes, thank you. What did he boldly declare? Very boldly. We want you to be bold like him when you say this. Sister Gladys Otoe will try.
He said, I am in the right, but God has denied me justice.
You okay? And he declared what before everybody? Sister Martinez Sangra. Thank you, Sister Odoy.
He said, I will not renounce my integrity.
Yes. And following through? Brother Thompson?
He refused to go against Jehovah.
Okay. What did he actually say? Thank you, Brother. Brother Thompson, please.
He said it was unthinkable for me to declare you men righteous until I die. I will not renounce my integrity.
Isn't that something? And so, why is that statement of vital importance to you and I? Sister Mary?
As far as a full sacrifice, they're just bad animals, or they're not good animals. They wouldn't offer in the best. That's what Joel was looking for.
Yes, very good. All right. Now, thank you, Brother Thomas. Sister Forgina Rogers, please, your thought?
Yeah, because Jehovah told him that how a son would honor his father and a servant his master. So if I'm the father, where's the honor due to me? Try taking that lame sacrifice to your governor or to someone else. Would he appreciate that? Would he take it? So why do you despise me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you, Sister Rogers. Sister Yamada, what was that comment? Thank you very much, friends. We appreciate your fine comments. Now, let's move on to paragraph 4, because a big question is it possible for somebody who is imperfect to have integrity? Let's take a look.
Should we conclude that we must be perfect in order to have integrity? After all, we may feel that we are less than sound or even very flawed. Consider 2 reasons why we need not fear. First, Jehovah does not focus on our flaws. His word tells us, if errors were what you watch, O Jehovah, then who, O Jehovah, could stand? He knows that we are imperfect, sinful humans, and he forgives us generously. Second, Jehovah knows our limitations, and he does not expect more of us than we can do. In what sense, then, can we be complete, sound, or whole in his eyes?
Thank you very much, Brother Alvin. Could you read for us Psalm 103, verses 12 through 14, please?
As far off as the sunrise is from the sunset, so far off from us he has put our transgressions. As a father shows mercy to his sons, Jehovah has shown mercy to those who fear him. For he well knows how we are formed, remembering that we are dust.
Thank you very much, Brother Alvin. Appreciate that. So question 4a says, why can an imperfect person have integrity? Why? Sister Smothers, Asia.
Well, Psalms 133, verse 3 says that Jehovah does not watch or keep track of our errors. Otherwise, none of us would be able to show integrity. But rather, Jehovah observes our efforts and answers our prayers for help and forgiveness.
Yes, thank you very much, Sister Smothers. We appreciate that. And why would we feel that we personally we can't do this integrity business? Why would we personally have questions about us? Brother Merrick, please. John.
Psalm 86:5 tells us about Jehovah and his viewpoint. It says, "For you, O Jehovah, are good and ready to forgive. You abound in loyal love for all those who call on you." So there's our assurance.